Alrighty, folks, welcome back to our part 3 series of men's basketball. We got our head and assistant coaches with us. We have head coach Steve Spencer, associate head coach Jesse Miramontez, and assistant coaches Steve Tamanaha and Jamaal Lee. Again, thanks you guys for a great week of talking about basketball. So, Coach Spencer, let's start with you. As far as your team goes and your mission, for those that maybe just see the games on the court and don't see what goes on beyond the scenes, we all want to win games. We all want to be successful as a group, but what kind of skills do you want to provide your players, just not only for basketball and for the season at hand, but beyond the courts? What are some of the things you want to instill in these kids?
Life skills. So we're all just trying to be best versions of ourselves each day, on and off the court. The non-scoreboard wins are more important than the scoreboard wins while we're trying to at everything we do, because we're a competitive bunch. I know I am. I know my assistant coaches are, and we want to win in everything we do. But keeping perspective and understanding the systemic limitations that we have, move forward with just trying to make sure that each one of our guys is trying to be better at character stuff, character traits, doing the right thing. And we just feel like if we do that, then enough of the wins will take care of itself, and we'll try and reach our full potential as a team. And as teachers, players, that's what we're all trying to do.
Very good. Thank you, Steve. Jesse, tell me a little bit about your situation. As a former head coach, now you coach at the high school level for many years, and now you're going over to Coach Spencer's team in Orange Coast, and being a number one assistant coach for years. What's the transition been like, going from being the guy to kind of being the number two guy, or just kind of being a role coach as an associate head coach? Was there a bit of a learning curve for you, or a bit of a transition period between going from being the guy to helping out Steve?
Yeah, I think so, Tony. I think anytime you go from a head job, I think more so when you're at a place where I was at Westminster. I was there for like 17 years. I think if you're at a place for a long time, like I was, I think the toughest transition is not, you're not the shot caller. You just don't make the calls. That's the hardest part. I think you got to make yourself more reserved now. You got to back off and accept the role. I'm going to tell you one thing though. Coach Spencer has made it less of a burden for me to have to accept, because he's so he just accepts a lot, and he makes you feel the loyalty part of it is huge. And he makes you feel like you're an important component of a program. So I think that's the toughest situation for me, is not being in charge of just kind of conducting the everyday meat of a program. Yeah. So.
Very good. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Jamaal, as an up-and-coming coach, I know you're kind of on the not ground floor, but in the learning steps of being a coach, and as a longtime player now as assistant coach for Orange Coast, I know you want to become a head coach at this level or even beyond. So what are some of the things you've learned over the few years that you've been here with Steve, and what are some of the things you want to take with you as a head coach down the road? What do you think you've learned the most from Coach Spencer and the rest of the coaching staff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a process, embracing the moment, embracing the process, and just wanting to fund the grind, as Coach would say. And that's fun, F-U-N, not fun, F-U-N-D. So we're funding the grind and being a part of the everyday grind and embracing that if you're going to be a part of something. And I think those things are huge for me, and huge for anybody I would influence and encourage along the line, down as a coach, as a mentor, as a friend, as a father, just those components, character traits that we try to provide to our guys day in and day out. And I just want to take that on, and that hard work mentality instilling in my guys every step of their way.
Very cool. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Coach Tamanaha, I'm kind of piggybacking on Coach Spencer's question to you, but what are some of the skills you would like to have our players take out of their time at Orange Coast College, whether it's on the basketball court, beyond? I've gone to some of the banquets, and it's an amazing experience watching these kids start from point A and they finish at point B. What are some of the things that you're most proud of as far as this team, year in and year out? What do you like seeing these kids develop with as the years go on?
Just an overall awareness of who they are. You're absolutely right, Tony, that when they come to us, many of them come to us right out of high school, good example. So they're undeveloped, not only in their playing skills, but in their outlook in life. And Coach Spencer talked about this earlier, how important it is that they have these personal growth. And this is a great time of year for them to do this. One of the nice things is that although their eligibility is only for 2 years, we make a great impact within those 2 or 3 years that they are with us. They grow not only as a player, but also as a student, as a person, as a man. We talk about, even though it's a family aspect, we talk about social responsibility at the same time. How do you react? And it's particularly important in these times right now, when you come across the social injustices, when you come across how do you fit in society, and what's going to be your response to it? And I think for us, especially for me, that to see that personal growth in them is really, really important. And it's just a big reward that you see at the end of it all. That, finally now they get to move on to something else.
Very true, very true. Like, just from my own personal experience, being so tight with the guys from that 2017 team that went so far, and just to see them grow, but just throughout the entire season, it was something to be proud of, and I'm glad I was a part of that. So, Coach Spence, last question for you, and it's going to be a completely lighthearted and from the heart question. If I looked up the term intensity in the dictionary, I'd probably say see Steve Spencer during Fullerton basketball games. I'm watching for 15 years. I walk out of there just shaking my head every game. But to your credit, and I mean this from the heart, I think I've maybe seen you get 1 technical foul or 2 technical fouls in 15 years of working with you here. Like, what's the key? What's the secret? You see coaches get teed up all the time. So as advice to some of these, first-year coaches or second-year coaches, what are some of the things you do to get to that line and not get the tee thrown at you?
The referees all love me. Competes afterwards. So, no. I think that, if you just see that part of it, the intensity part, but you're not there every day at the practice, and then, you don't see all the interactions with the assistant coaches and players and player, coach, player, all that stuff, and then the school and the interaction with all the players, then you don't get the full context. And so I definitely got to do a better job. I think one thing is we try and tie it to their intensity and their work ethic. And I think that gets me some brownie points at the end of the day, because they want to pull the trigger a few more times. But I think in the back of their head, they're going, well, okay, maybe I didn't run down the court fast enough, or, maybe I'm giving it a little different game than the D2 or NEIA or D1 game that I did the night before. So we got like an acronym kind of fun. I got to do a better job of having fun with them. I always got to do a better job of everything. Coach, all the coaches have been trying to help me out with those guys. They're an important part, developing that relationship better. We got an acronym: fun, accountability, character, teamwork, solutions, facts. So, I got to do a better job of applying that to that area, to all areas really. But maybe I'm going to bring a joke book because I can't remember jokes. So if I have a book there, maybe I can bring a joke book. one thing I know we're going to do before I leave, we're definitely going to do it. I'm not sure when. Hopefully you're there when we do it. But we're gonna come out of a timeout and we're gonna trap the referee. And so and the ref is gonna go, what are you doing? And the players are gonna go, Coach told us to double team the guy that's killing us the most.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes, please do that for a home game. I definitely want to be a part of that. That will be amazing. So
that's in the wings. We're waiting to break that one out.
I love it. Well, I don't know if you guys heard my story with John. My brother who passed away. For those that are paying attention here, we had our memorial service 2 days after all this happened, and I was kind of thrust into the emceeing role of it and talking about my brother. And I had kind of a speech in my hand as to what I wanted to say, but I'm kind of looking out at the field and everyone's, crying and they're sad. And I'm like, they're going to play in 5 minutes. I can't say what I'm about to say right here. So right before the service happened, one of the umpires who, to know my brother, John loved the umpires as much as Steve loves the officials. One came up to me before the service and just said, how much my brother meant to him. And I know, he knows there was, he didn't like us, but there was respect on each side and all these things. And the next thing I know, he literally starts breaking down and crying to the point where he's almost on the ground. And I'm scooping him up and giving him a hug. And this story popped into my head as I get to the podium, right? So I tell this story to everybody about to the 3,000 people in the stadium. Well, John and the umpires maybe didn't get along all that well, but we had an umpire today that came over and told me how much he meant to him, and then he cried in my arms, and I'm hugging him. And the only thing that popped into my head at that moment was John made an umpire cry. And I said that, and everyone just started laughing their heads off. And I looked back at the field, and all the players, they had stopped crying at least. So I'm like, okay, that's good. At least we can move forward now and work towards playing a game. So
your brother was a much better man than me. There'll be tears of joy. I'll be cremated, so they'll be trying to see if they can kick the ashes someplace. So just finish up though. I just think we're all lucky to be doing what we're doing. I think through good times, bad times, I think a pandemic like this has allowed all of us to find some truths and some positives in the midst of a whole bunch of negatives. And I know that I'm lucky to be able to be around young people all the time, and then to be around you and Jesse and Steve and Jamaal, and they keep me young. They keep me going in the right direction, and always trying to learn and always trying to be better. And we just got the best staff, assistant coaches, and we like to work with people. And we're about academics, player development, and opportunity. And that opportunity takes on a lot of different levels and contexts and processes. So OCC is a great place to be. It's not for everybody. There are high demands, very high demands. We're very demanding on a whole bunch of aspects, character being one of them, and just a hard work day. So I'm very fortunate to have the coaches I have. Two of them aren't here, Demetrius Cash and Jonah. They had other engagements they had to take care of. But we just got a great staff. So I'm very fortunate, very lucky, and very appreciative of where I work and the people that are around me. So thanks a lot. Thank you for doing this, Tony. This is great. Appreciate all that you do. And you got a tough job.
Well, you know what? Working with you guys makes it easy. I'm lucky. I could be doing this at some other college that isn't quite as successful or isn't quite as important. Where advertising and marketing and promotion isn't quite as important to them. So I'm glad to be here at Orange Coast. So,
it's great. This Zoom stuff has been a good tool to utilize during these times, and then we can utilize it moving forward, even when we we get back to more normalcy. So it's another tool in our arsenal to use to reach people and communicate. So,
couldn't agree more. Yeah, I'm looking forward to using this beyond this year for sure. So, guys, tell you what, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And let's hope we get some good news tomorrow. I'm hearing good news. We're going to have some opportunity to be in person again, so that'll be great. So, again, all the best to you guys.
Yep,
Thanks for your time.
We are going back to the gym starting next week.
I love it. Let's get big and buff, and we'll see you guys in the springtime again. And again, all the best. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tony.
Tony.
Take care, you guys.
Tony.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.